Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Sunday's vlog here on Let's Talk Sports, as well as the Hardcore Sports Network. I'm a little out of breath right now. I, I, uh, I got home this morning and mowed my lawn as soon as I got home from work this morning, so I'm a little out of breath. I just got freshened up and whatnot, so it's been a good start to the day, I guess you could say. So got my workout in at least. Good morning to Mitch Kofsky, the co-founder of the Hardcore Sports Network. Again, I'm out of breath. Uh, uh, so today's vlog, we're gonna talk, of course, about the late great Jim Brown. For those who don't know, a couple days ago, Jim Brown sadly passed away at the young age of 87. He was considered to be a pioneer at the running back position. And while frankly, he wasn't even a running back, he was a fullback, if we're going to be technical. But he pioneered pretty much the running back position to what it is today. Um, he was in, in most people's eyes, he's considered one of the best, if not the best player in NFL history. I mean, you can talk, Tom Brady, he's got his rings and whatnot, Jerry Rice, greatest receiver ever. Player wise, as a guy who literally dominated the entirety of his career in the NFL, there's no one better than Jim Brown. And yes, definitely rest in peace, Jim Brown. Uh, it's sad. They say celebrity deaths usually come in threes. We lost Jim Brown a couple days ago, and of course, this past weekend, last weekend, I should say, we lost superstar Billy Graham. For those of you wrestling fans, old school wrestling fans, I should say. Um, so yeah, two huge pioneers in their respective businesses. Superstar Billy Graham was one of the pioneers of the heyday in the WWF, um, way back in the day, and of course Jim Brown, you know as I mentioned before, a pioneer in the NFL as probably the greatest running back of all time, and not bad for a fullback, right? I mean, there is nobody when you talk Jim Brown, you know, I'm a young kid. I just turned 30, so I can compared to some of these other people probably going to be talking about Jim Brown. I'm a kid still. You know what? How would I know about this guy named Jim Brown from back in the day? You know. Well, you hear it from hearsay. You watch some. When I, you know, me personally, most people know I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan. I mean, there's I mean you can see the blanket. You can see the blanket. It's right there. But so yeah, getting to watch Emmett Smith, you know, at the very tail end of his, I didn't get to watch many of Emmett Smith at all, really, because tail end of his career and whatnot. So yeah, a legend, Hall of Fame, but rest in peace, Jim Brown. Exactly. Like, he's better man than most people. Not everybody's perfect. Nobody's as perfect, but I'm pretty sure Jim Brown was about as close as it could come. But man, it hurt a little bit because of yeah. The joke will never go away. uh, but yeah, I mean, even I grew up in the early 2000s, so I didn't even get to see Emmett Smith. So when I see guys like Adrian Peterson coming out, from Oklahoma, some of these guys like Steven Jackson was another one. Um, these great running backs that they had in the 2000s. Jerome Bettis, I would throw in there. You go back and you look back and Barry Sanders in the 90s, Emmitt Smith in the 90s, Marshall Faulk in the early 2000s. Every time you see these guys, talk in interviews, who inspired you, who was the biggest inspiration of your career, 9 times out of 10, they would say Jim Brown, because Jim Brown was the innovator of the running back at the running back position. Big physical guy. He could run over pretty much an entire defensive line if he wanted to. Not only that, he was quick, he was fast. He could maneuver really well. He was more so an athlete than he was a fullback. So, and like I said, he was only in the league for 9 years. Only in the league for 9 years. And I'm pretty sure he led the league in rushing every single year he played. So, I mean, I'll probably have to look that up, but I mean, he was just dominant, and frankly, not the last time Jim Brown played was also the last time the Browns were kind of relevant. Sorry to all the Browns fans, but the Browns won a championship when he. Yeah, agreed. Barry Sanders was in the league about that long, and he had the similar situation. The only difference was really, Barry was on a bad team in Detroit, while the Browns were in the heyday of their dynasty in that time period. So, I mean, and again, even guys going back as far back as Walter Payton, guys like that were inspired by guys like Jim Brown. Jim Brown, I like to call him, the patriarch of the NFL, because if there's one guy that everybody, fans, players, anyone associated with the NFL, if there's anyone in agreement that who is well respected, well loved by every single person involved with the NFL, whether it's player, coach, fan, it was Jim Brown. And I mean, it sucks really, because man, I'm not even a Browns fan, and I'm kind of torn up by this. So, I mean, yeah, I completely forgot about the 80s Browns too. I mean, yeah, the 80s Browns were a good team. But championship caliber, the last championship caliber team Cleveland had was back when Jim Brown was playing. So it's a long time ago. And, it sucks. It sucks hearing that, he's no longer with us. It's always great, watching events, watching things like the Hall of Fame or, the award ceremonies and whatnot, and, just seeing Jim Brown in the audience. He's just lit up a room, man. He was a great, as I can't remember who said it in the chat, but great, better man, great Hall of Famer. He's probably going to go down as one of the top 5 best players all time. In some people's eyes, he's the greatest player to ever play the game. And you can make a really strong argument for that, because every single year, like I said, every single year Jim Brown played, he was dominant. And, 9 seasons, 12,312 yards. He had a total of 126 touchdowns, 3 MVPs, and he was selected to the Pro Bowl all 9 years that he played. Every single year he played, he was a Pro Bowler. That is insanity. Brady, Rice, Brown. That would be those would be the three. Those are the three guys. If you want to put like a Mount Rushmore of football, it's usually like all together. It's usually Tom Brady, Jerry Rice, Jim Brown, and if you want to go defensive guy, maybe Lawrence Taylor. I would say Lawrence Taylor, Ronnie Lott. The defensive guy is going to be, not many people are sold on that. You could even say Dion if you want. Yeah. Would you say Dion? I think Dion could make a good case for that, but you got to have Jim Brown on there regardless. So yeah, it's like it's insanity. It sucks. It's like I said, we usually lose. It's hard dealing with celebrity deaths sometimes. Running backs, Jim Brown's definitely running backs. Jim Brown's definitely atop that list. I would probably throw Walter Payton in there. Maybe Barry Sanders. There's an argument for a bunch of other guys you could throw in there. I personally would throw Emmitt Smith but that's just me. That and he has the rushing record, so. But you can make a case for guys like maybe Marshall Faulk, Edgerrin James, Jerome Bettis. You can make Adrian Peterson. You can make a case for a lot of these guys. LaDainian Tomlinson, who's probably LaDainian Tomlinson, you would probably throw that in there. Yeah, celebrity deaths are, especially if the celebrity that passed away really impacted your life. Those are hard to deal with. I know Robin Williams was hard for me to deal with. But yeah, the entire NFL world, is still in a kind of a state of shock, really, over Jim Brown's passing. So it's going to take a few more days probably for it all to set in. But wanted to take, this time to kind of remember the greatness that was Jim Brown in his time in Cleveland for all that he did for not just the Cleveland organization, the Cleveland Browns, but for the NFL in general and for what he did off the field as well. I know he had big roles off the field. So, he was this, that, and everything else. So great man, great player. He's going to be greatly missed. One of the best to ever play the game, if not the best to ever play the game. And we'll kind of end it off here. Before we do, we'll do want to mention that later today, we'll be doing the Sunday sit down show at about 1 p.m. Eastern. Going to have Gary Thorpe on, who's a UK 49ers fan, big part of the Let's Talk Sports community. And then tomorrow night, Monday night, or I should say, we'll start Monday morning. We got the Monday morning duo with myself and Sean Jarrett. You're the first person to notice that, by the way. Just wanted to throw that out. But yeah, we got the Monday morning duo with Sean Jarrett and myself. That'll be at 9 a.m. Eastern on tomorrow morning. Tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern, I will be joined by Keith Engel of TGI Sports Talk and Scott Cove of Let's Talk Sports for the new series that we started last week, State of the Franchise. We'll be talking New England Patriots on Monday night. So any Patriots fans, definitely check that out. But Yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Definitely rest in peace, Jim Brown, one of the greats to ever play the game, if not the greatest player to ever play the game. Uh, but wanted to end off today with a uh, moment of silence, a 10-second moment of silence in honor and memory of the great Jim Brown. So we'll do that, and then I'll hit the outro. But definitely check out the Sunday sit down later today and a bunch of other stuff that I got planned this week. But until then, guys, hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Love y'all. Stay safe. Take care. I'm going to pop off and we'll give a 10-second um, moment of silence for Jim Brown.